The Zielinski family is well known in the Willamette Valley. For 3 generations, they've operated a farm and orchard business, primarily growing apples, pears, and peaches. They also offer locally grown produce at their farm market, located on the outskirts of northeast Salem. What many people don't know is that the Zielinskis are now producing their own traditional French-style cider. While the cider is relatively new to store shelves, each bottle represents several years of planning.
Initially, what we were doing was looking at the type of fruit to plant to make a proper cider. And a lot of help came from other people who have done work before us with cider, and specifically on French cider varieties. So there were some varieties offered to us of the French origin. So that's the direction we chose to go. So starting in 2000, we planted trees that we had budded with French variety apples. So since that time, we've had numerous opportunities once a year to develop our cider and practice on the technique so that we can build a tradition of making authentic style French cider.
And it all starts in the orchard, where French, English, and early American varieties are being grown.
What we end up with in the bottle is significantly affected by the fruit that we produce. There are a number of varieties, totaling 9. Some of the varieties are earlier harvest, sweet in character, fairly dry, not real juicy. Some of the varieties are very aromatic. Small fruit with, if you held several of them in your hand and took a good smell of them, you're going to get some really strong apple smells, ripe apple smells, and some floral characteristics. And then the most essential characteristic is the dominant share of the fruit that we use are French varieties that are called bittersweets. And these fruit, when you bite into them, seem sweet at first, but then secondly, they're very bitter. And this is the tannin structure that's so important to make a proper cider in the French tradition. And then there's a small amount of fruit we use that are acidic, so they're tart. And this is what gives the mild acidity that we need in the fruit.
After the apples are harvested, they are kept in cold storage for several months.
What this does is it allows the fruit to mature a little more at a very slow rate, and the fruit actually dehydrates slightly. And this reduces the yield, but increases the intensity of the fruit.
From that point, the fruit is ready to be milled. Here the apples are carefully washed and shredded to a fine pulp. The pulp is then loaded into a large pressing machine to extract the juice.
And that juice is then transferred to a stainless steel tank where it's fermented. And it's a fermentation process that can take 5 months, usually, sometimes 6 months. And it's a very slow fermentation at reduced temperatures. There is no yeast addition outside of what is apparently on the fruit when we press it. So there's no yeast inoculation. We add nothing to our cider. There's simply the juice itself that's used. No sulfites are used as well.
Should we have a taste?
I think it's important.
So tell me about the kind of qualities and characteristics that you're looking for in a finished bottle.
What I want to achieve in this cider is the initial characteristics of riper fruit with a ripe apple type of aroma. That's the first thing you're going to have, hopefully, the sensation of. A lightness, so it's not heavy on the tongue. And that's what the effervescence helps achieve. There is a fair amount of tannin in the fruit that's used for this cider. So at mid-palate, it starts to wake up in the middle of the palate, and that's where the flavor widens out. And that's predominantly because of the tannins and the fruit that's used, and then a mild amount of acidity so that it finishes clean. A long history of being involved with the orchard side of the business gave me some interest in what was going on with the fruit that's used to make the cider, because it's a unique type of fruit. So it started from the farm side, moved into the fermenting side, and from that grows an opportunity at this point in my career to have another adventure, try something else out.
For more information, visit EZorchards.com.
That's what you want to accomplish.